Hello everybody, Accureye here, and welcome back to another Accureye Talks video. And in today's Accureye Talks video, I just thought we'd talk about where I stand with Mortal Kombat 11. As you all may or may not know, Mortal Kombat 11 came out recently, and with that, of course, came a brand new fighting game. And honestly, I mean, it was a game I really wanted to like, and Mortal Kombat is a game I really want to try to like. But unfortunately, I'm finding that Mortal Kombat, at least for me, especially if it's something I want to do for instance, tournaments, it's just not there for me. Like, I feel that honestly, it isn't really there for me. It's not like something I feel is of course, just like for me. Like, it just doesn't feel like it's for me. It feels like it's a game that, maybe some people will like. In fact, I think a lot of people who want an easy game will probably like it, but it's definitely not a game where I feel, if you're, for instance, going to play it for tournaments, is enjoyable. I mean, at least in my opinion, I don't think that the game would be, at least for me, when it comes to tournaments or anything like that. And mostly that is because of the fact that, I feel that the player base is the main issue. When it comes down to it, of course, the player base is just the issue for, of course, the game. It is where I feel the game kind of falls off, at least for me. And, I mean, I want to try and really enjoy the game. I really am trying to make it to where I feel like, this is something I want to do, or I want to play. But, as I've said, for me, the low-tier player base just really threw me off. It's really what threw me into a point of, like, well, I'm not crazy about it. I don't really like it. And, I mean, it's like, I really think that, if NetherRealm does a better job at balancing it out, maybe it would be a good game. But, again, right now, the factor is balance. The factor is being able to play the game and have it be enjoyable to where, you can play it and, enjoy the overall title. And, I mean, I feel that's the main issue right now is that, the game is just not enjoyable. It's not something that, that I would really find to be like, okay, this is not bad, but, again, like I said, it's just not a game where I find it to be enjoyable. It's a game where, for me, it's just something, it's like, well, it is what it is. And I mean, some people may enjoy the fact that that Mortal Kombat is easy. That Mortal Kombat does provide a little bit of, things to do, things to, of course, something that everyone can play in a way, I guess you could say. And, I mean, for me, that's one of the main issues is that, it isn't something that, to me, I feel everyone could, it's something that I feel everyone could play, but I feel that's something that, so, I mean, those are just my point of view. That's just my thoughts. Those are just what I've been thinking. And, I feel that, honestly, in my personal opinion, Mortal Kombat 11 just has such a low-tier player base that, yes, it's going to attract a lot of people. People are going to be interested in the game. People are going to flock to the game because it's easy to learn. There's not really any work on footsies. There's no, you need to know the neutral game. There's nothing that really, to me, feels like there's a balance to Mortal Kombat. And, I mean, that's a big issue, is that there's no real balance. Players on Mortal Kombat feels like players on Mortal Kombat, no matter what you do, they're going to have the advantage. They're going to always be in a, a good area of like, oh, well, I can just win if I do this. I can just win if I do that. There's no like, oh, well, that requires me to be a little more advanced. That requires me to kind of think about, what I'm doing. Like, look at Tekken, for instance. Look at Street Fighter, which is what I'm using as my example while we're talking about this. And, you look at these games, and they require some bit of skill. They require you to know a little bit of a so-called quote-unquote neutral game. And, of course, none of the characters are overpowered. Like, you have some characters that are really, really powerful, and some characters that are just like, well, that was not a very good character to use. And some characters may surprise other people when it comes to tournaments, because you think of characters like maybe Ibuki, for instance. Ibuki, for instance, was a character that many people may not think about. And those who do think about Ibuki may not realize that players like Inshine can really make Ibuki just stand out like, crazy high tier, and most people would have never thought about that, So, it's stuff like that really is, kind of the point of view that, you gotta realize is that, there is a neutral game that needs to be learned and played in some degree. And of course, that neutral style gameplay is what really can set apart a good player versus a bad player. And, if the bad player can't really play the neutral game out, which, it does happen in Tekken and it does happen in Street Fighter, then, obviously they're going to get punished. But unfortunately, of course, for the case of like Mortal Kombat doesn't really have a so-called fill-unfill punishment, for someone who doesn't play the neutral game. It's like, there are only like two types of players on Mortal Kombat that I've seen so far. And that's either A, the zoners, or B, the rushers. Now, of course, there are also third type of player that I hadn't talked about, which are the Air and Black drop kickers. And let's face it, the Air and Black drop kickers are basically the most annoying players on Mortal Kombat entirely. Because, there's no skill required when you're playing Air and Black. Like, Air and Black is such a powerful character that there's no skill required. No one really requires you to be, like, powerful as Air and Black. It's just like, all you have to do is drop kick and you'll win. There's no like skill. There's no like, oh, I have to think about my cancels. I have to think about my setups. I have to think about my whatevers. It's just like, oh, well, we do this and we'll win all the time, every time. It doesn't matter because no one can stop it. And in the end of the day, no one can really stop it. So, so bravo for us, at the end of the day. And that's the main problem. Is like I said before, checks and balances. There's no real checks or balance between titles. It's just like, hey, we're here. We're going to do this, and yay, we're going to win. Huzzah! Good game, us. Good game, us. So, bada bing, bada boom. It's like, well, that was stupid, or that was dumb, and and then it's just like, well, meh, that was annoying, and many of us. Especially if you're someone like me who has to kind of go through this whole rigmarole of like, oh, I'm going to get an Air and Black, I'm going to get a Scorpion all the time. It's like, well, that's just dumb. There's no reason for it. Which is why I think that, honestly, in 2019, right now, for fighting games, right now in 2019, the worst low tier player game goes to Mortal Kombat 11 because it's just not redeemable. There's nothing that really makes it to where I feel, could redeem the game, could make it better. Mortal Kombat to me just feels like that title where it's like, oh, well, that was dumb. There's only like three types of players. It's either you're an Air and Black drop kicker, you're a, or you're a zoner, or you're just someone who will rush and button mash, which to me is dumb in a sense. It's pretty much just like, well, okay, that's dumb. That's literally dumb. There's no point in that. So, yeah. And, I mean, that's just immediately how I feel about the title. And, it's how I feel about, playing the game. But, I mean, with that being said, I mean, thank you, everybody, for joining me today on this video. Thank you for watching this video. If you like this video, you know what to do. Hit the like button, get subscribed, hit the bell notification, because I know you want to know when my next video drops next. Thank you, everybody, for joining me today on this video. Thank you for watching this video. And until the next one, everyone, I am live on Twitch at www.twitch.tv/Accureye. I am live on Wednesday, Thursday, and Saturday for sure for about 4 to 5 hours. But lately, also been live on Monday and Tuesday, and sometimes Sunday. Monday and Tuesday will always be a 2 to 3 hour stream. Sometimes they'll be a little longer, but usually it'll be 2 to 3 hours. And with that being said, I mean, thank you, everybody, for joining me today on this video. Thank you for watching this video. Thank you for being here. And until the next one, everybody, this is Accureye signing out and saying farewell, everyone.